Welcome back to the deep dive. We sift through the sources so you get the core insights without all the noise. Today, we're diving into a review of the 2012 film, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Right.
Now, if you haven't seen it, the basic idea is pretty compelling straight away. It's got this amazing lineup of British actors.
Absolutely. Talk here.
Real ensemble.
Yeah.
And they're all dealing with, huge life changes later in life. But here's the really interesting bit, the kind of contradiction we need to dig into. The film covers some heavy stuff: grief, debt, culture shock, facing mortality.
Serious life events.
Exactly. Yet the review we're looking at describes the whole experience as feeling like a gentle stroll. How does that work?
That's basically our mission today, for you listening. We want to unpack how a movie that looks like, well, simple fun on the surface manages to handle these really complex, sometimes painful realities of aging and starting over. How does it balance that tough stuff with being comforting entertainment? That's what the critic seems to be getting at.
Okay, let's kick off with the cast, because that's definitely the immediate hook. It's not just a few big names. The review calls it a who's who of British talent. We're talking Judi Dench, Maggie Smith,
Bill Nighy, Penelope Wilton,
Tom Wilkinson, Celia Imrie, Ronald Pickup. It's quite the list.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you feel that weight, that collective experience they bring. It's not just acting. It's decades of skill there.
And that experience sort of grounds the whole thing, doesn't it? Because they're contrasted with the younger characters.
Right, the injection of youth, as the review puts it.
Yeah.
Dev Patel and Tena Desai.
Which immediately sets up this generational thing and the culture clash that's coming.
So the setup described is that these older characters are all leaving behind specific problems in the UK. They've all signed up for what they think is this, purpose-built luxury retirement hotel in India. Sunshine, new life, comfort.
That's the dream. But then comes the twist, the first big reality check. They get to the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and, well, it's rather run down.
Yeah. Not quite the glossy brochure image. It's chaotic, a bit dilapidated.
And that's important, isn't it? That immediate disappointment.
It is key.
Right.
Because these characters are already dealing with loss or failure back home. So arriving to more chaos, this rundown hotel, it stops it being just a fantasy escape. It forces them to face reality again, just in a completely new place.
And the person trying to manage all this is the young owner, Sonny, Dev Patel. The review says he's inexperienced, but also cheerfully optimistic.
And that optimism is kind of the engine, but also the source of the comedy, right? You've got the residents needing stability, needing comfort, and Sonny's sort of boundless, slightly chaotic, youthful energy, trying to make it all work.
That clash really drives the culture shock and adaptation themes throughout the film.
Absolutely.
Let's get into the specifics, though, because the review really stresses that the film's power comes from the individual reasons why each character is there. They're not just old people. They have very specific crises.
Yeah, we need to understand those motivations. Like Judi Dench's character. She's just lost her husband.
Right.
But it's more than grief. His death reveals this huge financial mess, like 40 years of debt he racked up.
Wow. So for her, going to India isn't a choice. It's
survival. Economic necessity layered on top of profound loss. It's desperate.
Then you contrast that with Bill Nighy and Penelope Wilton's characters, the married couple.
Their crisis is different, more existential maybe. The review says they're refusing to just give up or grow old quietly.
So they're seeking this big change almost as an act of defiance against getting old.
Seems like it. A way to shake things up before it's too late, perhaps.
And then there's Tom Wilkinson's character, a high court judge. What's his story?
Burnout, basically. Just tired of the whole grind. Even though he was successful, he needs an escape, maybe something more spiritual.
Okay, and Celia Imrie is looking for adventure, a new lease on life.
Right, and then there's Ronald Pickup's character, Norman.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
After the review put it.
Delightfully direct. A horny old devil looking for a good time. But that range is crucial, isn't it? It covers everything from financial desperation to just wanting some fun. It stops the film from being simplistic about why people make big changes later in life.
Yeah, it feels much more real that way. But the review singles out one character for particular attention, Maggie Smith.
Ah, yes. Muriel Donnelly. She's framed as the total outsider. The unintentionally racist woman from another time.
That sounds like tricky territory for a feel-good film. How does the review handle that?
Well, it acknowledges she spends most of her time in fear of the natives, which sounds harsh. But then it immediately suggests her comments are meant to be funny, not truly offensive.
Funny in what way? Like highlighting her ignorance?
Kind of. The review seems to paint her less as malicious and more as stuck.
Rigid.
Her discomfort and inability to adapt become the source of the humor. It's humor derived from her own stubbornness, if that makes sense.
So she's the ultimate test case for that theme of adapting to a new culture.
Exactly. And her struggle highlights that adaptation isn't easy or uniform.
Right. The reviewer mentions that. Some characters dive right in, embrace India with gusto.
Yeah, they roll with the punches.
While others, like Muriel, find it much, much harder. It shows there's no single right way to cope with such a massive upheaval.
And India itself plays a huge role in this. It's not just wallpaper. The visual side is apparently stunning. The review raves about the color and life of the places and people looking quite incredible.
Why is that visual vibrancy so important, do you think, especially when dealing with these quite heavy personal dramas?
Well, I think it stops the film feeling too heavy or depressing. If they were dealing with debt and grief in some drab gray setting, it might just be too much.
Right, it would be overwhelming.
Exactly. But the sheer visual energy of India acts as a counterpoint. It keeps that feeling of possibility alive, even amidst the struggles. It helps maintain that gentle stroll feeling the reviewer mentions.
Speaking of holding things together, let's talk about Sonny again. The reviewer calls him the narrative glue.
Yeah, he connects all these different stories, juggling trying to run a hotel, which he barely knows how to do.
While also managing the expectations and various emotional states of 7 British retirees.
Quite a task. And he represents the film's sort of core optimism. He's the one who delivers that really memorable line, that nugget of wisdom, the review calls it.
Oh, the one about everything being all right.
Yeah. It'll be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, then it is not yet the end.
It's simple, but quite profound in context, isn't it? It kind of gives you, the audience, permission to trust that things will work out.
It does. It's a comforting philosophy, especially when the characters are facing such big problems.
So how does this all add up in terms of the critical reaction, according to the review? Did this balancing act work?
It seems so, yes.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly positive based on this source.
What were the main reasons given for its success?
Well, firstly, the acting. No surprise there. Yeah. With that cast, the characters are seen as likable and entirely believable.
That authenticity must carry a lot of the emotional weight.
Definitely. And secondly, as we discussed, the setting. India looks amazing. The cinematography is a huge plus.
And what about the pacing? 7 main characters, lots of stories. Does it feel overloaded?
Apparently not. The review makes a point of saying that even though it's just over 2 hours long, it does not feel like it.
Ah, so back to that gentle stroll idea.
Exactly. That phrase really sums up the film's achievement, according to the critic. It tackles the fear, the disorientation of being completely lost in a foreign land, but does it smoothly. It doesn't exhaust the viewer.
High drama, but easy to watch.
Precisely.
So, wrapping up the review's overall verdict, it's recommended as inoffensive and a bit of fun.
Yeah, simple fun that any generation can enjoy.
And the ultimate seal of approval, perhaps? It's a film you could take your mom to see.
Which tells you a lot about its tone, doesn't it? So, the key takeaway for you listening is probably this. The film works because it cleverly balances the serious with the charming. It addresses real fears about aging, loss, being displaced, but wraps it all up in this visually rich package with actors everyone loves. It makes tough subjects feel, well, enjoyable.
Which brings us right back to where we started, that core contradiction. We've just spent time talking about the sheer weight of the problems these characters face. Crippling debt, deep grief, burnout. These aren't minor issues, they're life-shattering.
Absolutely. Huge dramatic turning points.
And yet, the film's success, critically and commercially, seems to hinge on this feeling of taking a gentle stroll through it all. So here's the final thought for you to chew on. When we tell stories about major life changes, about reinvention, especially later in life, does the success of a film like this suggest that maybe gentleness is actually more effective, or at least more desired by audiences, than a really gritty, tough portrayal? Is that the best way to handle the drama of starting over?
Something to think about next time you embark on an adventure, perhaps. On screen or off.